What would you like to speak about? The new book?
Start with that. You can show the book. It's going to be on video.
All right. We have this new book. Just arrived in the States a month or two ago. It's now in the stores. Rabbi Nachman You. What's Rabbi Nachman You? Well, there's me, little old me, right? What do I do? How far do I get? You know, what can I accomplish? How much am I worth? And whatnot. Well, if you don't think you're worth anything, so why would you bother accomplishing? Why would you bother do something? When you start thinking of things in its proper place, when you start thinking of things of what it really is, then you get a bigger picture. Or as we just said, Rabbi Nachman says, think big, right? So the first thing you have to know is who are you? That's the first question. Who am I? What am I? What not? You know, and, everyone asks the same question. Everyone's asking that question. You know, what not? Rabbi Nachman is explaining to us is from the Gemara, from the Zohar, from the Medrash, the Ari, from the Kabbalah, everything. A person's soul is called a chelek elika mimal. It's a godly portion. So that you are a portion of God. Every person has to realize that his power, who he is very special. God took part of himself, as it were, and he placed it in your body and where you are to make you the person who you could be, the best person you could be. Right? We're not asking for more than that. Right? There's a very famous story of the Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli. Rabbi Zusha, they asked him, he said once that when I go before the heavenly tribunal, they're not going to ask me why I wasn't as great as Abraham or Moses or anyone like that. They're only going to ask me why wasn't I as great as I could have been. Right? If I learned to take a hold of my powers. So when we talk about Rabbi Nachman and you, we talk about me as the person, whoever I am, what am I here for? What can I accomplish? And how much is my contribution? Right? You know, everyone says every person can contribute a little bit or whatnot. The truth is every person can contribute a lot. And all you have to do is whatever you can do. Whatever you do best. You don't have to do what the other guy does. You know, there are people who can give $10 million to charity. That's very nice. Most people can't. Most people that give $10,000 a year, it's a lot of money. Right? All said and done. Let's face it, you know. And if you look at the guy who's receiving the charity, I mean, we have an organization. You give us an $18 check, it's nice. A $36 check, a $100 check, good. You know, but the truth is, it doesn't go very far. Right? Think about it. Right? It covers the tea. Right? It covers the water for the office. What does it cover? Right? It's not that. We're all parts of a whole. Hashem gave this person that lot of money. He could do whatever he could. That's his job. That's his job. Chafetz Chaim came one slichas night. He saw a very wealthy person in shul. He sat with the people and was saying Tillim. Now that's very noble, right? Say Tillim, pray to Hashem. It's tremendous. Put it on his bill. Put it on his credit card.
On the Uman bill.
To see you, Rabbi.
Danny,
The captain of the Rabbi Nachman Road Warriors.
Anyway, so the Chafetz Chaim sees this guy, this very wealthy guy in shul, saying Tillim, you know, Geshmak, Slichas, everything like that. He says to him, listen, if you have a soldier who's in a tank battalion, and they find that soldier in the infantry, or vice versa, a kid is in the infantry, but he goes over to a tank battalion. What would you say about him? He's in the war, right? He's fighting. No. You have to say he's AWOL, away without leave, from his battalion. If he's in a tank, be in a tank. If you're infantry, be in infantry. He says the same thing with you. You're very wealthy, but you're sitting here saying Tillim.
Wow.
Right? You're supposed to be giving tzedakah now. It's before Rosh Hashanah. There are people who need money. The kids, every person has a different function. Every person has a different mission. And it's not our business what goes on with this and with that. When Rabbi Nachman says, we're here for you. We're here to tell you what you can do. He means think about what you have and what you can contribute to your shul, to yourself, mostly to yourself. If you contribute to yourself, you contribute to your shul, you contribute to your neighbors, to your family, whatever the case is. So this is the first thing of understanding when Rabbi Nachman says you, what he means you. He's talking to us, every one of us. We each have a tremendous worth. We're a godly portion. Right? We're a godly portion. If we're a godly portion, then I could reveal godliness in the world. Who? Me? I'm not a rabbi. I'm not learned. I'm not this. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is do what you do best. That's what Rabbi Nachman is teaching us. Now, the only question we have about that is, how do I know what I do best? So it's very nice to say, okay, you can accomplish a lot. You can do a lot. You're really very important. But how do you know what you can do? How do you know what you can contribute? How? Right? And for that, what Rabbi Nachman teaches is why we have the tzaddik, why we have the leaders of Klal Yisrael, to teach us what we can do. I mean, you want to take a listing, we mentioned charity before, then we'll go on to a much larger picture. But charity, did you ever think how many areas of charity there are? Right? You have boys' schools, you have girls' schools, you have high schools, you have seminaries and colleges and kollels, and you have hospitals, bikul cholim, you have hospitals, you need medical services, you have needs, food for the poor people, you have for the widows, you have for the orphans. Yeah. You start going on, there must be 30, 40 areas of charity that a person can donate to. And that's just one mitzvah. Right? True, it's an encompassing mitzvah. Then you start taking the other mitzvahs of the Torah. Did you think of what davening is all about? We're in the middle of making a Breslov Siddur. Why do we need another English Siddur? I mean, there are enough, right? There's Art School did a beautiful job. There's a Birnbaum Siddur, right? There's a Matsuda Siddur. There are a lot of nice, beautiful English. What do we need another Siddur for? And I'll just describe the project, but they should understand why I'm saying this. Davening. Does anyone know what davening really is all about? Yeah, we get up in the morning and we say, Modeh ani lefanecha, I thank you, Hashem. And then we go through the daily ritual and we can't get rid of it fast enough because I got to get to work or I got to get the kids off to school or whatever it may be, And then we have all our different things. So I'm supposed to be praying to Hashem. Am I thinking of Hashem during davening? There's a famous story with the Berditchev Rav, Lev Yitzchak Berditchev. He went over to one of his congregants right after Shemona Esrei, Shalom Aleichem. So the guy looks at the Rebbe. I mean, I've been here for a few weeks, since my last trip. What do you mean Shalom Aleichem now? He says, yeah, but during Shemona Esrei, your mind was on the county fair that you went to in the other city. And, when you finished Shemona Esrei, you came back to earth, hello, anyone intelligent up there, down there, whatever, right? So he said Shalom Aleichem to him. He just came back to, But isn't that the way we daven? Our mind wanders and wanders. What's davening all about? What is the purpose of davening? Why do we have this? The word tefillah means to put together like a patil, like a wick of a candle that's interwoven a few pieces over so it becomes a wick, a large wick. It's a very thin piece of thread that are put together. That's the ptil, or that's what tefillah is really all about. It's made to bind us to God, so that we can feel Hashem. Did you ever start davening in Hashivenu Avinu L'Sarasecha, Shemona Esrei? We say it every day. Hashivenu, Hashem, return us to your Torah. Okay? Did you ever all of a sudden feel Hashem? You know, the Torah, where am I? Bring me back to the Torah. Where I don't feel it. Did you ever think, or Shiva Shavteinu Kvar, bring back our judges of old, or your, right, V'yo'atzenu, and our advisors. I need advice. Hashem, I'm in a dilemma now. I need advice what to do. Did you ever think of some of the words we're saying during davening? What does it mean to us? Did you ever all of a sudden in the middle of Shemona Esrei just let your words loose and say, Hashem, where are you? I need this. Right? Look at how we're suffering. Right? Look at how we're suffering. This poor soldier last week who was knifed by an Arab. Right? Remember the story? Right? What happened? The Arab has a couple of cousins that murdered other Jews. And they're in prison in Israel. He was angry over the fact that his murdering cousins are in Israel. That his murdering cousins are in prison. Right? So he went and murdered somebody else. Look at the trouble we are. And now they're sitting there with Abbas and with Kerry, and they're trying to say, how can we give away Israel to the Arabs? We're not in trouble. Guys, we're in deep trouble. Did you ever all of a sudden just cry out to Hashem and say, Hashem, help me? I've done it in the middle of Shemona Esrei. I've done it in the middle of davening. I've done it what Rabbi Nachman calls his Pedidus. Our own private tefillah, where you call out to Hashem, look what's going on. Look how we're suffering. Look at what's going on. All these different things that are taking place, right? We cry out to Hashem, and we speak to Hashem, and we scream to Hashem, right? That's what tefillah is all about. Our intention with our siddur is to make a siddur with 3 parts. One is a weekday siddur, one is a Shabbos siddur, and to me the most important volume will be the 3rd volume, which explains the whole davening from beginning to end. With the entire davening as well, where it goes and how it starts, and where it goes, was the Ari explains, it goes from the lowest levels, the korbanot, the sacrifices, the animal sacrifices. It talks about what's called the olam ha'asiyah, the world of action, the lowest of the 4 worlds in the Kabbalistic array.